India has been taking giant diplomatic leaps of late. India currently finds itself at the center of the quickly shifting geopolitical order. Observers say India is no more a fence-sitter but a keen observer and a driver of the evolving global situation.
Many nations, rich and poor, big and small, lined up at India's door for help in filling the vast essential drug shortage caused by the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak in 2020. India lived up to its reputation of being the pharmacy of the world and acted expeditiously, helping countries around the world to combat the pandemic. India acted for the global good when many other countries engaged in vaccine nationalism. A number of developed nations, including the United States, refused to share any surplus vaccines they had manufactured with other struggling countries. It was India that came to the rescue. Millions of India-manufactured doses were immediately distributed to those countries who were not equipped to develop or produce a vaccine for coronavirus. Many countries also gave in to the relentless India-led campaign for a patent waiver on vaccine manufacturing so that access for the critical jabs were available to everyone. New Delhi recently received overwhelming appreciation for their efforts at the United Nations General Assembly session.
From the very outset, the Republic of India was a reliable partner and friend, whose assistance was critical to our pandemic response. India embraced a holistic and outward-looking vaccine diplomacy strategy. As a result, Jamaica was able to secure its first life-saving vaccines from India.
India has solidified its reputation as a trustworthy partner and ally throughout the world. The Maldives, Guyana, Sri Lanka, among other nations, have all praised New Delhi for its unwavering commitment and support in their times of need. India was one of the first responders to the Sri Lankan economic crisis, to the Afghanistan food crisis, and even during the Russia-Ukraine war when it sent tons of relief aid to the Ukraine. India has secured a diplomatic edge over other large economies because of its humanitarian-focused diplomatic approach. While many other countries' foreign policy and diplomacy are focused on trade and augmenting their own power globally, India has relied on its ingrained approach of humanity first, deriving from its age-old ideology of the world as one, or Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Indian investments into smaller countries are also aimed at benefiting the host nation. Many smaller nations have reached out to India to invest in their countries because of India's transparency in doing business.
India has always been an economy that focused on human development, putting human ahead of any other form of development.
India is receiving recognition for its increased role in global policy framing due to its economic and military strength and because of its strategic global location. Whether it is the Quad, the strategic alliance to maintain peace and order in the Indo-Pacific, political economic grouping SCO, regional partnership under BIMSTEC, or the Intercontinental Forum of G20, India has been a key and critical voice in all of these multilateral forums. One of the most important features of India's diplomacy has been its nonpartisan stance. Many countries in the middle of disputes have found a reliable partner and voice of reason in India because of its nonpartisan approach to global politics. The United States, Russia, and China have all been in one form of partnership with India. India's relationship with these nations is at a deeper bilateral level and uninfluenced by events that may cause tensions between these nations. The only reason the US didn't impose sanctions when India reached an agreement with Russia to buy the S-400 air defense missile system is because of India's credibility and respect it has achieved throughout the world. Opinion was divided world over on the Russia-Ukraine war. When India was asked to choose a side, India resisted all pressure and remained in favor of peace. This was a key example of India's approach of dialogue and diplomacy.
As the Ukraine conflict continues to rage, we are often asked, whose side are we on? And our answer, each time, is straight and honest. India is on the side of peace and will remain firmly there. We are on the side that respects the UN Charter and its founding principles. We are on the side that calls for dialogue and diplomacy as the only way out.
If not for China's interventions, India would hold a permanent place at the United Nations Security Council. India has already received support from the US, the UK, France, and Russia for a permanent chair position. Russia reaffirmed its stance in support of India during the UN General Assembly meeting. This also comes at the heels of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's polite advice to the Russian President Vladimir Putin over the Ukraine war. "This is not an era of war," Modi said, a statement that garnered praise the world over. This is another example of the international respect that India has attained. Given the quickly shifting geopolitical landscape and India's rapid economic development, it is not unreasonable to predict that New Delhi will soon become one of the key players influencing world politics and the global economy. India possesses the political will to rapidly transition into a country that is not only self-sufficient, but is also a reliable provider and ally to countries world over. Brand India continues to grow with the approach of humanity first and development for all.